Drop that bass. Drop that bass.
Hey guys, Ollie here, and today we're continuing Rare Month, our month-long celebration of all things Rareware. We'll be looking at many of the games in the developer's catalog, all leading up to the release of Rare Replay on August 4th, so be sure to subscribe and check back for all our reviews over the coming month. Today we're taking a look at Perfect Dark Zero. This is a prequel to the N64 original, which released back in 2000 and was the spiritual successor to the legendary GoldenEye. The 360 launch title is meant to bring Rare back to the forefront after some less than stellar reception to their original Xbox titles. For a number of reasons, this didn't quite pan out, but keeping that in mind, is it still worth picking up? Or is this lights out for Perfect Dark Zero? Let's find out.
I'm freelance. Really?
Taking place 3 years before the original in 2020, the year where we all shoot each other in Oculosphere Datadyne Deathmatch, Perfect Dark Zero follows a young Joanna Dark on her first mission out of training with her father Jack. And you're pitted against the Datadyne Corporation because reasons. That's really about it. There's meant to be some intrigue and there's a few references to the first game for fans, but the fact is, when it's not busy being overly cliche, the writing is all over the place, and really only serves to get you from one exotic location to the next.
Shut up, or I drop you like a bad conversation.
Come on! What's it to you, old man?
The story is not the reason you should pick up this game, and at its best, Perfect Dark Zero's story is serviceable and nothing more. The original Perfect Dark was the successor to GoldenEye and consequently one of the funnest games to come out of the N64 era. But whereas the original was very fast-paced and frantic, the moment you're given control in Zero, you feel slow and sluggish. This is partially due to the less than optimal frame rate, which is to say you're not going to be speedrunning this anytime soon. I mean, just look at the running animation on the enemies. They look like they're on the moon. This brings me to another key point, and that's that the AI is just bad. Enemies are tough, especially on harder difficulties, but this is only due to the amount of hits they take, and how few of their bullets it takes to kill you. Otherwise, they're as basic as it gets, and arguably worse than the N64 original. Despite this, the game with its co-op and varying objectives makes a case for replay value, but honestly, with gunplay this stiff and even worse split-screen performance, I can't see anyone wanting to play the campaign again aside from getting achievements. You're much better off replaying the original. In the case of multiplayer, however, the game fares much better. It's highly customizable, has lots of modes, and even supports bots.
Hope you're ready for this, kid. That action you're after? You got it.
This in addition to split screen, which coming from the developer that popularized 4-player couch deathmatch it better. Really the only issue is that games are hard to come by online, though with little persistence you can get into a lobby. And with Rare Replay coming out soon, it stands to reason that the servers will recover. Even without other humans, the aforementioned bots can be used as a substitute, but the AI problems from the single player do remain. That said, it's a logical progression of the multiplayer from GoldenEye and Perfect Dark 1, and that alone makes it very much worth your time. Generally, I am a big fan of Rare's artwork, music, and overall style. Perfect Dark Zero, however, is about as sloppy as it gets for the developer. You see, while the general art direction is good, the fact is that this being one of the earliest 360 titles, Zero is one of those games where the developers seem to have thought going into the 360 generation meant making everything shiny. But surprise, not only did making everything wet not look great in 2005, but now it looks like a relic. Not helped at all by the shockingly bad frame rates. Don't even get me started on the low teens I experienced in co-op. Simply put, the presentation's bad. Things fare a little bit better in the audio department with some decent tracks, but most of the music ends up being inoffensive and pretty forgettable. Now, on to the voice acting and general writing. Again, the script is as cliche as it gets, and the voice acting, while nowhere near Resident Evil 1 terrible, is pretty bad. I really, really don't like it. This would have been acceptable on the N64, but on the 360 it's just really not great.
I meant no offense, Master.
To sum it up, the presentation is lackluster in Perfect Dark Zero, and I know I'm going to get some flack for it, but in my own opinion, this is the worst looking game Rare ever made stylistically. Based on everything you've heard, you might think I hate Perfect Dark Zero, but for all its flaws, it's still a passable shooter. And considering the collector's edition can be had for $13 new on Amazon right now, it might be worth picking up. The game depends solely on the multiplayer for much of its appeal, so hopefully with the release of Rare Replay, it'll bring an influx of new Xbox One players to the now mostly empty servers. It goes without saying then that there's still fun to be had in Perfect Dark Zero, but you should approach with caution. A 3 out of 5.